Thank you so much for attending my PowerPoint presentation on every biome in Terraria. Terraria is a game with over 30 distinct environments and sub-biomes. Most players stumble through the woods until a giant eyeball eats them, but we are here to be better than that. In today's video, I'll explain why some of these places are absolute masterpieces of design, while others are just there to make you miserable. The Ether is a pre-hard mode mini biome that was dropped into our laps during the Labor of Love update, and it's easily one of the most useful additions to the game in a decade. You will find this tucked away in the underground or cavern layer, and it's always, without exception, on the same side of the world as your jungle. If you're standing on the beach near the ocean and you start digging down, you're likely to hit this pocket of stone and starry backgrounds. The big draw here is the shimmer, a pearlescent liquid that is basically an undo button for your mistakes. You can throw items into it to decraft them back into their base materials, which is huge if you accidentally crafted the wrong piece of armor like a total amateur. You can throw items into it to decraft them back into their base materials, which is huge if you accidentally crafted the wrong piece of armor like a total amateur. It also transmutes items into better versions, like turning a bottomless water bucket into a bottomless shimmer bucket once you have beaten the Moon Lord. There are no bosses here, and the only real enemy is the shimmer slime, which is just a regular slime that took a bath. It's a completely safe, A-tier biome that the community treated like a hidden treasure when it first launched, because finding it without a map viewer is a literal game of hide and seek. If you aren't using the Ether to fix your gear or get rare items like the Rod of Harmony, you're playing the game wrong. To the charred sticks of the abyss, we have the Ash Forest. These were added in the Labor of Love update to give the underworld a bit more personality, though they mostly just look like a barbecue gone horribly wrong. You will find exactly 2 of these, occupying the outer sixths of the underworld on the far left and right edges, where the air is slightly less thick with the screams of voodoo demons. They feature ash trees growing on ash grass, making them the only notable plant in the entire underworld layer. There are no unique enemies here, so it's really just a scenic backdrop for when you're building your boss bridge. Is it useful? Not really, unless you're a fan of ashwood. Then it is a fantastic building material for when you want your house to say, "I live in a volcano." It's a minor addition that makes the edges of the world feel a little less like an unfinished void. From the lava pools to something much stickier, a beehive. These are scattered throughout the underground jungle, and they are just giant yellow target signs for early game progression. You go here because you want the queen bee's loot. The hives are made of hive blocks and filled with honey, which provides a nice health regeneration buff if you stand in it, but do not get too comfortable. Inside every hive is a larva, and if you breathe on it too hard or accidentally hit it with a stray projectile, the queen bee wakes up and decides your life is forfeit. For summoners, this biome is the holy grail of the early game. The bee armor and the hornet staff are S-tier picks that will carry you into hard mode, and the bee nades are famously effective at shredding the wall of flesh. The community views the queen bee as a farm boss, someone you fight 10 times in a row just to get those honeyed goggles so you can fly around on a fat bee. It's mostly dangerous because of the confined space, but if you have at least silver or tungsten gear, you should be fine. Just watch your aim. Accidentally summoning a boss while you're low on health is a classic rookie mistake that I hope you're above. Moving deeper into the crust of the earth, we hit the cavern layer. This is not just a biome, it's the primary setting for about 70% of your playtime. It starts below the underground layer and goes all the way down to the lava pools. This is where the real game happens. You're looking for crystal hearts to boost your health, gold and platinum ores to build actual armor, and those lovely underground cabins filled with Hermes boots and cloud in a bottles. The enemies here are the classics: skeletons, bats, and the random nymph that will pretend to be a lost girl before tearing your face off. The nymph is actually a great find because she drops the metal detector, but good luck finding her consistently. The real danger in the cavern is not the mobs, it's the environment. Boulders are the true final bosses of Terraria, and they are everywhere in the cavern. One wrong step on a pressure plate and you're a pancake. Once you hit hard mode, this layer becomes a war zone as the corruption, crimson, or hallow starts to bleed into it, changing the enemies to much more aggressive versions. It's where you will spend hours of your life mining for mithril while questioning your life choices. Now, we talk about the first option of world evil. The corruption. This is a purple wasteland of decay that generates in about 45% of worlds. It's defined by these deep vertical chasms that drop straight down into the dark. If you do not have a hook or a double jump, these chasms are just very elaborate ways to commit suicide. At the bottom, you will find shadow orbs and demon altars. Breaking 3 orbs summons the Eater of Worlds, a giant worm that is honestly a bit of a pushover if you have a piercing weapon like the Vile Thorn. Speaking of loot, the shadow orbs give you the musket, which is a fantastic early game gun, but overall, the community widely considers the corruption to be inferior to its red counterpart. Cursed Flames, the signature hard mode material here, are fine, but they do not hold a candle to Ichor. The lore says the corruption is a cancer caused by the sins of the world, which sounds metal, but in practice it's just an annoying purple smudge on your map that you have to keep from spreading into your base with 4-block wide tunnels. If you use the Scourge of the Corruptor as your main weapon, I honestly don't know what to tell you. There are better options out there. On the flip side, we have the Crimson. This is the meta choice for most players because the gear is just objectively better. Instead of purple rot, you get red fleshy gore. Instead of vertical pits, you get circular caves that look like giant hearts with fingers stretching out. Inside those fingers are crimson hearts, and breaking 3 of them brings out the brain of Cthulhu. This fight is a bit more dynamic than the Eater of Worlds, and in expert mode, it drops the Brain of Confusion, which gives you a chance to dodge attacks. That alone makes the Crimson worth it, but the real reason everyone loves the Crimson is Ichor. In hard mode, Ichor stickers drop this yellow goo that you can turn into flasks or ammo to strip 20 defense off of any enemy. It's the single most powerful debuff in the game. Then you have the vampire knives from the biome chest in the dungeon, a weapon that heals you while you do damage. It's so good it feels like you're cheating. The Crimson is described as a hive mind, a single living being that is trying to consume the world. It's a bit more dangerous than the Corruption because the enemies have slightly better stats, but the trade-off in power is worth every drop of digital blood. The Surface Desert is a place you usually run through as fast as possible because vultures are the most annoying birds ever conceived. It's a vast expanse of sand and cacti, and while it seems empty, it hides some of the best early game luck you can find. I am talking about pyramids. If your world generates a pyramid, you have a chance at getting the sandstorm in a bottle, which is arguably the best double jump in the game. But because world generation is often cruel, many worlds have 0 pyramids, leaving you with nothing but a bunch of sand in your boots. You should visit here early to grab some cactus for cactus armor. It's better than being naked, though only just. In hard mode, the desert becomes a death trap. Mummies start spawning, and if there is a sandstorm, sand sharks will literally swim through the ground to eat you. It's a B-tier biome at best. It's needed for some building materials and specific drops. Unless you're looking for an oasis to do some fishing, you probably won't stay long. The dungeon is where the game stops holding your hand and starts trying to actively kick you out. It's a massive maze on the edge of the world, and it's guarded by Skeletron. If you try to enter before killing the big skeleton, the dungeon guardian will spawn and instantly delete your character from existence. Once you're inside, it's a gold mine. Locked golden chests hold the Muramasa, the Cobalt Shield, and the Aqua Scepter. You need these, but the dungeon's true form doesn't even show up until you have defeated Plantera much later in the game. That is when the hard mode dungeon kicks in and the enemies become absolutely wicked. We are talking about paladins with hammers that hit like semi-trucks and skeleton snipers that can one-shot you from off-screen. It's one of the most loot-dense areas in Terraria, and you will be coming back here for ectoplasm, sniper rifles, and the legendary biome chests. The community loves the dungeon because it's the ultimate test of your build. If your armor is trash, the dungeon will let you know within 5 seconds. It's S tier for a reason. It's iconic, it's dangerous, and it's mandatory for reaching the end game. The forest is your starting point, your home, and the place where you will probably build your first wooden box of a house. It's the default state of the world. What happens when no other biome is present? During the day, it's peaceful with green slimes hopping around, but at night, it turns into a zombie movie. You visit the forest because you have to, and you stay because it's the safest place to build a town for your NPCs. Most of the basic resources come from here: wood, mushrooms, and dayblooms for your initial potions. It's the only place where the Eye of Cthulhu will naturally hunt you down at night once you have enough health. While it's not exactly exciting compared to a floating sky island or a hellscape, the forest is the backbone of your world. It's where your journey begins and where it usually ends after you have slain the Moon Lord. It's a solid B tier, reliable, safe, and full of trees that you will eventually replace with much cooler blocks. The Glowing Mushroom Biome. This biome is a visual trip: blue glowing grass, giant mushrooms, and a funky bass-heavy soundtrack that is easily a top 3 track in the game. There are 2 versions, the underground one which spawns naturally, and the surface one which you have to build yourself. You absolutely need to build a surface mushroom biome because that is the only way the truffle NPC will move in. And you want the truffle because he sells the auto hammer, which is the only way to make shroomite bars for the best ranger armor in the game. Speaking of things that glow in the dark but won't actually help you survive a boss fight, we have the glowing moss biome. This is a mini biome tucked away in the cavern layer, but specifically never directly under your spawn area, because apparently the game wants you to work for your neon wallpaper. Within these caves, almost every exposed stone block is covered in a vibrant glowing moss that makes the area look like a rave happened in a limestone pit. Every world picks one specific flavor. krypton, xenon, or argon, and it sticks with it for every instance, so do not expect a rainbow down there. It's significantly larger than your standard moss chamber, but here is the catch. There are no unique enemies and no unique loot. Honestly, it's a purely aesthetic addition. It's a B tier for the builders who want that neon glow, and a total F tier for anyone looking to actually progress. If you're spending 20 minutes mining this stuff just to make your basement look like a laser tag arena, I respect the grind, but I also think you might need to reevaluate your priorities. For this section, we have the Granite Cave. This is a mini biome in the cavern layer that looks like a sleek dark stone palace. The enemies here are a nightmare for early game players. Granite elementals can fly through walls and hit surprisingly hard, and granite golems are tanky enough to soak up a lot of damage. You come here if you want to build a house out of smooth granite, which does look incredible, or if you're hunting for the night vision helmet. Beyond that, it's mostly a detour. The community generally ranks this low on the tier list because there is no boss and no major progression item tied to it. It's just a cool looking cave where things try to kill you through the ceiling. Honestly, if you see blue stone on your map and you're still in wooden armor, just turn around. It's not worth the headache. By the way, I have spent a lot of time on these slides, so if you're enjoying this deep dive into the pixels of Terraria, maybe consider subscribing. It's free, it helps the channel, and it makes me feel like my obsession with digital biomes is actually productive. Moving on to the graveyard. This is a biome that you, the player, create by being bad at the game. If you die enough in one spot and leave at least 7 tombstones, the sky turns gray, ectomist rolls in, and the music gets spooky. It's the game's way of mocking your failures. However, it's actually a very useful crafting station. Standing in the ectomist allows you to craft unique items like the Gravedigger's Shovel or special vanity sets. More importantly, in hard mode, if you put the Dryad in a graveyard, she will sell you seeds for the opposite evil biome. So if you have a Crimson world but you really want a musket or cursed flames, you can get those seeds here. A player-driven mechanic that I find brilliant because it turns death into a resource. Just do not let it get out of hand near your main base or you will have ghosts and ravens attacking your NPCs while you're trying to shop. It's a solid biome that rewards your mistakes with better crafting recipes. After you beat the Wall of Flesh, the Hallow explodes into your world in a giant V shape of rainbows and unicorns. It looks like a fairy tale, but do not be fooled. It's just as deadly as the Crimson. The Hallow is the good equivalent of the world evil, and it's the only biome that won't make your houses uninhabitable for NPCs. You come here for pixie dust and unicorn horns, which are vital for hard mode potions and gear. But the real reason to visit the Hallow is the Empress of Light. She is a post-Plantera boss that provides some of the best gear in the game, especially for summoners. If you fight her during the day, she one-shots you with every attack, but if you win, you get the Terra Prisma, the ultimate summon weapon. The community loves the Hallow because it provides a break from the gross fleshy themes of the other biomes while still being really challenging. The gastropods that spawn here at night are essentially snipers with wings, so keep your guard up. It's an S-tier biome that is essential for any hard mode playthrough. The ice biome, or the underground tundra, is where the snow biome goes to get serious. It's filled with frozen chests that contain some great early mobility items like the blizzard in a bottle or ice skates. The main hazard here is the thin ice. If you land on it from too high, it breaks and you fall into freezing water, which is a great way to drown while being attacked by an ice bat. In hard mode, this biome becomes very profitable. Any enemy killed here has a chance to drop the Amarok, a very strong yo-yo that inflicts frostburn. You also hunt for ice golems during blizzards to get frost cores for the frost armor set. It's a B-tier area. Not as flashy as the jungle, but the loot is consistent and the frozen key for the dungeon is one of the better ones to find. Just watch your step on the ice. Gravity is not your friend here. Now let's get to the heavyweight champion of biomes, the jungle. This place is a nightmare from the moment you step foot in it. Even in pre-hard mode, the snatchers and hornets will ruin your day, but in hard mode, forget about it. Derplings will jump across the screen and take half your health in one hit, and giant tortoises will spin into you like a shell-bound missile. You go to the jungle because you have no choice. It houses the entrance to the underground jungle, which is where the game's core progression lives. The Witch Doctor NPC is also best housed here, so he can sell you leaf wings or the Tiki set. The community agrees that the jungle is the most dangerous surface biome in the game. It's also the most fragile. The corruption in Crimson can convert the mud into dirt, permanently destroying the jungle unless you protect it. It's an S-tier biome for content, but a Z-tier for my blood pressure. Deep inside the jungle is the Lizard Temple. You can't get in without the temple key from Plantera, and you can't mine the blocks until you've basically finished the game. It's a corridor of traps, darts, spears, flames, and spiked balls. If you're not using a Danger Sense potion, you're going to die. At the end of the maze is Golem, the boss that is famously the easiest fight in the game despite being so late in the progression. Most players treat Golem like a piñata that drops sunstones and beetle husks. The real prize in the temple isn't the boss, though, it's the traps. Once you have a pick saw, you can harvest the traps and use them to build your own AFK farming arenas. It's a high-level area that feels very rewarding to defeat, even if the boss is a bit of a joke. Back to the mini biomes. The Marble Cave is the reason I have trust issues. It's gorgeous, white marble and Greek-themed enemies, but it contains the Medusa. In older versions, she could petrify you from off-screen and you would fall to your death. They nerfed her, but she is still a threat. Then you have the Hoplites, who throw javelins that do an absurd amount of damage to early game players. You come here for marble blocks to build your fancy Greco-Roman villas or for the Medusa head magic weapon. The community generally dislikes this biome because the deaths here feel unfair compared to other areas. It's a C-tier biome, pretty to look at, but it's just a place to get sniped by a skeleton in a toga. The Meteorite biome is a temporary gift from the sky. After you break a Shadow Orb or Crimson Heart, there is a chance a meteorite will crash somewhere on your surface. It turns the area into meteorite ore and spawns meteor heads. These heads are annoying because they fly through blocks, but they are easy to kill. You come here to mine the ore so you can craft the space gun and meteor armor. This combo allows you to fire the gun for 0 mana cost, which is the ultimate early game I win button for mages. It makes the rest of pre-hard mode a breeze. However, once you hit hard mode, the meteorite becomes useless. It's a classic B-tier experience. High impact for a short window of time, then completely forgotten. The Oasis is a sub-biome of the desert that was added to give us a reason to actually like the sand. It's a pool of water with some palm trees and dragonflies. It's basically just a fishing hole. If you need desert-specific fish for potions, this is where you go. It doesn't have unique enemies or bosses, so it's more of a landmark than a biome. It's minor in every sense of the word, but it makes the desert look less like a barren wasteland. The ocean sits at the edges of your world, and it's the birthplace of many a hard mode nightmare. Pre-hard mode, you come here to loot water chests for flippers and water walking boots. Pro tip, water walking boots are a key ingredient for Terraspark boots, which are the best boots in the game, so do not throw them away. In hard mode, the ocean becomes the arena for Duke Fishron. He is an optional boss, but his loot, like the Razorblade Typhoon and the Tsunami Bow, is so good it can carry you to the end of the game. The ocean is also where you farm pirate maps to summon the pirate invasion. It's an A-tier biome because it remains relevant from the first hour of the game to the last. Just watch out for sharks. They have a lot more health than you think. The snow biome is the cozy neighbor of the dungeon. It's mostly safe, filled with boreal wood, which is the best looking wood for building, and shiverthorn for your potions. It also features the Deerclops boss, a crossover from Don't Starve. He is a weird fight, but the loot is interesting, especially the Lucy the Axe, which actually talks to you. In hard mode, the snow biome is where you get the frost staff and the ice sickle. It's a solid A-tier biome. It's not as stressful as the jungle or the evil biomes, making it a great place to set up a secondary base. If you keep going up, you hit space. The gravity gets low, the music gets ethereal, and the wyverns show up. Wyverns are the gatekeepers of flight, and you have to kill them to get souls of flight to craft your first pair of wings. This makes space a mandatory stop at the start of hard mode. You also have floating islands up here, which contain the Star Fury and the Lucky Horseshoe. Space is an F tier for actual content because there is nothing but harpies and wyverns, but the floating islands are S tier for early exploration. Just don't build your house up there unless you want wyverns flying through your living room every 5 minutes. The spider caves are not for the weak. They are covered in thick cobwebs that slow you down while black recluses jump on you. You come here for 2 reasons: to find the stylist NPC who is trapped in the webs, and to farm spider fangs for the spider armor set. For summoners, this is the first thing you do in hard mode. The spider armor is a huge power spike. For everyone else, it's a place to get the web slinger hook and then never return. It's an A-tier biome for specific classes, but a please get me out of here biome for everyone else. The town isn't a naturally occurring biome, it's a player-made sanctuary. When you have enough NPCs together, the enemy spawn rates drop to almost 0. This is where you put your pylons, which allow for instant teleportation across the map. The town system changed Terraria forever, making exploration much less of a chore. It's the most important biome in the game because it's the only place you can truly relax. If you aren't using a pylon network, you're basically playing a walking simulator from 2011. When hard mode starts, a massive strip of your underground world turns into the underground corruption. This is where you go to farm souls of night, which are needed for almost everything in the mid-game. You also fight clingers for cursed flames. It's a dark, miserable place with some of the most annoying enemies in the game, like the cursed hammer that flies through walls. It's an S tier for necessity, but I wouldn't call it fun. Similarly, the Underground Crimson is the hard mode version of the Red Evil. Again, You're here for Souls of Night, but instead of Cursed Flames, you get Ichor from Ichor stickers. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Ichor is king. The Underground Crimson also has the Crimson Mimic, which drops the Life Drain and the Tendon Hook. It's the superior choice for progression, hands down. The Underground Desert is a massive ant nest that is arguably more dangerous than the dungeon. It's filled with traps and antlions that will shred your health in seconds. You come here for the Magic Conch, which teleports you to the ocean, and for the Bast statue, which gives a defense buff. In hard mode, it becomes even worse with basilisks and desert spirits. The community considers this a high-risk, high-reward area. It's A tier for the loot, but expect to die at least 5 times trying to find a chest. The Underground Hallow is the prettiest place to die. It's filled with crystal shards and the elusive chaos elementals. Everyone who has played Terraria has a story about farming for the Rod of Discord, a 1 in 500 drop that lets you teleport anywhere. Some people get it in 10 minutes, others spend 50 hours and never see it. You also find gelatin crystals here to summon Queen Slime. It's an S-tier biome because it's the engine that drives your hard mode progression. The Underground Jungle is the heart of Terraria. It's where you find chlorophyte, Plantera's bulbs, and life fruit. It's the most content-heavy area in the game and also the most hostile. Between the moss hornets and the giant tortoises, you're constantly under fire, but you have to be here. This is where you prepare for the end game. It's the ultimate S-tier biome. It's the soul of the game. The underground version of the mushroom biome, it's small, damp, and glows blue. It's mostly just a place to catch truffle worms, which are the bait used to summon Duke Fishron. These worms are fast, and they will burrow away the second they see you, so catching them is a test of your patience and your net swinging skills. It's an A tier for summoning Duke Fishron, but otherwise it's just a nice place to listen to some great music while you wait for a worm to spawn. It's not very dangerous, but it's very pretty to look at. If you haven't built a mushroom house yet, what are you even doing? Finally, we hit the bottom. The Underworld, or Hell. It's a landscape of ash and lava. Pre-hard mode, you come here to mine Hellstone for the best gear before the big shift. You also fight the Wall of Flesh here by sacrificing the guide. The community's favorite pastime is building a Hell Bridge, a miles-long platform of blocks just to run away from the boss. In hard mode, it stays relevant for the tax collector NPC and the red devils that drop the fire feather. It's the ultimate S-tier biome, the gateway to the second half of the game, and the place where every legend is born. Thank you for watching, and subscribe.